Hey, what's up guys? Alright, today's video is about how to make $100,000. Now, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel. Alright, so how to make $100,000. Now, this is specific to real estate, and the specific topic is actually owner financing. So let me explain what owner financing is. Basically what it is you own a house and you're selling it to somebody else on a payment plan, and you're originating the mortgage. So you are the bank, okay? And you're selling to somebody else, usually at a 10% interest from anywhere from 15 to 30-year mortgage. And you're giving somebody a house to be able to own. The title of the house goes into their name, but you hold the note or the mortgage, and they pay you monthly to be able to live there until the loan is paid off, or they refinance, or they sell the house, and then you get paid off the remaining balance. So that's what owner financing is. Now let's go into how do you find a house to owner finance. So you pick your market wherever you want to go. Usually a market like in California or on the East Coast and stuff don't work so well. The bread and butter of owner financing is about $150,000 and below. You can owner finance higher, but it's very risky, and the 10% interest just does not really work above $150,000. So anywhere from 7 to 150 is the sweet spot. So basically, you want to target your market. You then find a house. You purchase that house with either bank financing, or you find a private lender who will finance the whole thing for you at an interest-only loan. Now, and that might be a little confusing, so let's just use the typical one where you buy it with a bank loan. But before you buy it, to figure out what price you're going to buy it at. So that brings us into our next topic, which is how to figure out what price to buy the house at. There's a formula for this, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible. You take the market rent of the area, you subtract the taxes and the insurance from that number. So let's say the market rent's $1,000, taxes are $100 a month, and insurance is $75 a month. You're left with $825, and that number is the number that the person that will purchase the house for can afford to pay you monthly. Because if they're paying $1,000 to rent a property, why would they not pay you $1,000 a month to own a property? That's the whole premise of owner financing. So once you figure out that number of $825 by subtracting the taxes and the insurance, $825 times 115 will give you $94,875. So that's your mortgage amount. You then want to add another 10% on top for the down payment. We will do times 0.10. So we'll just say $9,500 for simple terms. Your total sale price will be $104,375. So they'll put $9,500 down, and you'll give them a loan of $94,875. Sorry, I'm doing the math here on my phone. That formula of multiplying the monthly payment by 115 will give you the amount that you give them as a loan based on a 30-year mortgage at 10% interest. Okay, so now that you know what you can sell it for, which is about $104,000, you then want to take that $104,000 and divide it in half. So if the house needs work, you'll add this to the end of the formula, which I forgot to mention. But this gives you your final sale price. So most of the time the house is going to need some work, because if you're buying the houses pretty cheap, they're going to need work. So what you do is you'll take that $104,000 and you will subtract 50% of the rehab cost. So say the property needs 20 grand in work, you'll subtract 10 grand from that 104,000. And it'll actually give you a final sale price of $94,000. So you can resell that house for $94,000 with 10% down. Let me go over that again because it might have been a little bit confusing. $825 is the amount that they can pay you monthly. multiply that by 115. That'll give you $94,875. Then 9,500 down for 10% will be $104,375. The house needs 20 grand in work, so you're going to subtract $10,000 from that. You can sell the house for $94,375 on payments. So now, to figure out what you want to pay for the house, you will take that $94,375 and divide it in half. Now that's a home run deal if you can get that. 65% is really good. So if you can find a deal for around 65%, then that's still a good deal and I would still do it. So let's go with the 65% because 50 is probably not really that realistic. Looking to purchase a house for around $61,000. So you purchase the house for $61,000 and you use bank financing. So you're going to put 20% down to purchase the house, which is going to be around $12,300. We'll keep it simple terms. So $12,300 plus, let's say, an extra $2 grand in closing costs. So you're going to be out of pocket somewhere around $14,000 to $15,000. We'll say $15,000. So you're going to be out of pocket $15,000. Going to sell the house to someone with owner financing for $94,000. You're going to ask for $9,500 down, so you're going to recoup some of your initial cost of the $15,000. So you ask for $9,500 down, which will be $5,500 out of pocket for you. But you now have a first mortgage of about $50,000 is your first mortgage that you bought the property with. And then you sold it to somebody else with owner financing, and they have a mortgage of $84,600. So once you originate that and you have the end buyer in the house, owner financing, you now are going to sell the note, but you can also keep it because, let me explain this part. You purchase the house with the bank loan on a 30-year fixed with about 6% interest. Your mortgage, if you purchase it at 62, your mortgage is going to be $49,600, 30-year fixed on a 6%. That's going to give you, we'll round it up to about $300 a month. You're going to have to pay that bank for buying the house. Then when you sell it to somebody else with owner financing, they're going to be paying you $825. So $825 minus $300, you're making $525 a month every month because you're the bank. They have to pay you. It doesn't matter if the toilet breaks or the roof is leaking. They still have to pay you because you're the bank. And if they don't pay you, you can take the property back and do it all over again. So to round this all up, you now have a first mortgage of just about $50,000, and you have a new mortgage of $84,600. So then what happens is a note buyer will come around and they'll want to buy your note. They usually pay about 80% on the dollar. So if you have a mortgage of $84,600, they'll pay you $67,680 roughly to buy that note from you because it's making 10% interest. The note buyer pays you $67,680 and you have a mortgage of $50,000. You pay off that existing mortgage of $50,000 and you're left with $17,680 that goes in your pocket because you originated that note for more than you have on the first mortgage, and a note buyer comes around, pays you 80% of the value of that owner finance note. You take that money, you pay off your first mortgage, and you're left with the difference. If you do that 6 times, you make over $100,000. That might have been a little confusing. I'm not the best at explaining things, but I'll do a little recap. You find a house, you buy it with bank financing. You use the formula to figure out what you have to purchase it for and what you can sell it for. That formula is market rent minus taxes and insurance times 115 times 0.10, add that on top, then subtract 50% of what you think the property needs in rehab. That's your sale price. Okay? Then you sell it to somebody on owner financing for 10% interest on a 30-year fixed. You can either keep the mortgage and make that $500 every month as residual income. Or you can sell it to a note buyer for 80 cents on the dollar and pocket that $17,000 to $20,000 and go do it again. Now you do that 5, 6, 7 times a year and you're making a really good amount of money. I hope everybody understood what I was trying to get across. Like I said, I'm not the best at explaining things. It all sounds better in my head than when I say it. But if you have any questions, that's why there's a comment section. Comment down below if you have any questions and I will answer them. Also, I hope this puts you into the YouTube rabbit hole they call of owner financing. There are a lot of really good videos out there that explain it a lot better than I do. So I would go and check that out. If you're interested in getting into real estate, I think owner financing is a really good way to make a lot of money and you don't have to worry about tenants and all that stuff. That's it for today's video. I hope you learned something and I hope I didn't confuse you that much. Until next time, bye everybody.